Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock, and in this video we're taking a look at Tesla deliveries and talking about what it means for the deliveries that we got for Q1, looking ahead to the full year deliveries. Will we end up getting to that 1,800,000 that Elon talked about in the last earnings call that we got in January? When is their next earnings call coming up? Those are the things that I want to talk about in this video. So if you guys like this commentary and want to hear more, check out the link for the Patreon down in the description. With that said, I want to get right into the delivery news that we have. So right here, Tesla vehicle production and deliveries date. So this came out yesterday at around noon, and the deliveries did look pretty good, producing 440,000, almost 441,000 vehicles. The delivery coming in at 422,875, so almost 423,000 vehicles. And one thing that struck me was right here, and that's partially addressed, I think, in what it says up above, and I'll get to that. Only about half of these, the models S and X, only about half of them were delivered, and I think that that's this part right here that talks about a more regional mix of vehicle builds. This is Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and this is Asian Pacific regions that they're talking about with that. So maybe they didn't get there in time. I don't know. We'll see if that happens. Hopefully it's not any sort of demand issue going on with the models S and X. We'll see. That is something to keep in mind. Maybe it's something that we see there. Maybe it is this regional mix, and they really are just trying to get more out there. We'll see how that goes. That's not the point of this video. Their earnings, since we are here, do come out April 19th, so sooner than I expected. So early in April, I think the banks actually start to put out their earnings on April 18th, so the market can get pretty choppy around the time that Tesla presents. We're going to have to look and see, and honestly, they're going to tell a lot about what they see for the consumers in terms of demand, looking forward for their outlook for 2023. So we'll see what sort of recession we get. I have a cat at my leg right now that's currently looking for attention. The poor guy. I'm taking up his space with my studio. What was I thinking? So sorry for the interruption there. So with that said, let me shift over to the spreadsheet that I have here. That's not a spreadsheet. When we look at this spreadsheet, so right here, this is the 1,800,000 2023 delivery goal that Elon set out. And then we'll also look at the percent quarter-over-quarter growth that takes. So under this first one that I have here, we see that this is the Q1 deliveries that we have, and it was only 4.3% growth quarter over quarter. So that doesn't really seem very aggressive for Tesla and what it means for their year-over-year outlook. So getting to that 1.8 million, we're going to have to see. That was something that was already announced back in January, so that's not new. So when we look at the next line here, there we go. This is how many deliveries remaining there are. So this is over the next 3 quarters what we need to see. There we go. And so the average number that we need to see delivery-wise over the next 3 quarters is almost 460,000 per quarter. So that's significantly up from where we're at right now. I didn't put that quarter-over-quarter number up, although I can. Actually, you know, what the heck? Let's do this. So equals, let's just say on that average basis. So that number divided by that number minus 1. There you go. So that would be 9% up. If we went straight there, that would be 9% up for the second quarter that we would see for 2023, and then smoothing out from there. So that would be the average. As a matter of fact, it'd be 9% all at once, and then it would be 0% for the next 2 quarters. So that would be a strange thing to see, and why I didn't really report it as a quarter-over-quarter growth number. But like I said, so that would only be what we'd see for Q2, and then we'd be even. We get 0 growth is what we'd see quarter over quarter for Q3 and Q4 if that's what we had. So that's just taking this number, dividing by 3, it comes out to that number. Maybe you can see the formula up here in that part of it. So let me uncover this one that we have right here. Boop. There we are. So the delivery target for Q2, if we take that amount that we need up from what this is, and we spread it out evenly across all 3 quarters, that amount increase, you can see we only need another 4.3% growth for the next quarter. So an even amount of growth from what we have to get that Q2 delivery target of 441-ish thousand vehicles. And then right here under this one should be, there we go, Q3. There's that 459 popping back out again for us for Q3. And then the last one, and mind you, that's another 4% that we have. So 4%, 4%, 4%. And then under this last one that we have here, another almost 4% growth that we would need in Q4. That would take us up to the 1,800,000 vehicles that you see here. So we can actually do this equals sum. There we go. We'll grab these. We'll put a comma, and then we'll say that one. And when we put them all together, there it is. So when we add up the Q1 deliveries with the targets that I have set forth here, the things that would take for us to get there. Now, mind you, that's taking a straight path. If you look at the common difference between Q1 and these targets, Q1 to Q2, Q2 to Q3, Q3 to Q4, each one of them is just over 17,000 more EVs to deliver in the subsequent quarter when we look at that in order to make that happen. So let me bring that down for just a moment, because I really want to be emphatic about this. So if we're talking about a possible recession, and with the oil prices, or I should say oil supply being pinched off by OPEC coming up and possibly keeping inflation around a little bit higher for us, it's an inflationary act in order to do that, because if it increases energy prices, then that means the transportation of goods and also the amount that we pay at the pumps, all that stuff tends to go up with it as well, and we're trying to slow down inflation, so that could mean possible further rate hikes. So with further tightening, it could be something that further slows demand. It also makes borrowing more expensive, so taking out an auto loan on a thing like a Tesla could be something that's impacted. So while Tesla, I believe, has the ability to produce all these vehicles, the question is, what do they have to do in order to meet that demand? Is the consumer going to hold out? Are EV tax credits enough this year to make that keep going? Are they going to have to cut the price of their vehicles more? I did put out my earnings projection over at the Patreon prior to deliveries, and I'm in the process of making the updated one now that we have the deliveries. I have a lot of the updates in, and it does look a little bit rosier now that we've gotten the Q1 update. So I do have my Q1 earnings preview nearly ready to go. I already have my first iteration of that available at the Patreon right now. That link is down in the description if you want to sign up. Check out my Patreon exclusives over there and be a member of my private Discord, and join me and the other community members over there. We'd absolutely love to have you. Also, I'll be putting out further projections for Tesla, like full year projections based on what we would have right now. So if the economy does slow down, if we do hit recession, and if borrowing continues to be more expensive, those are things that could be things that might really mitigate against Tesla macro events that could happen, that could really sort of pinch off demand a little bit by making things just a little bit too pricey, or maybe the consumer becomes a little bit more conservative than what they are. So to hit these targets, then the big question is, what is it going to take to get there? So let's take a look at the chart. Bring that down, pop that up, and alakazam. There we go. We got the chart that we're looking at here. And I had this up prior to, if you watched it in my previous videos on Tesla, I said that we were likely going to break out of this wedge soon, and we did. We came to the upside. You can see that we landed in between the support and resistance lines that I have in here. And then that was Friday's market that we saw that sort of trade. A lot of people moving into position for that. And then we had a sell the news event bringing us back down. You could speculate that the deliveries weren't as strong as they were looking for. There was only about 18,000 vehicles that were left undelivered, as opposed to like 34,000 that went undelivered in Q4 of 2022. So they got a lot of the deliveries out. So really, it's a matter of production and then also keeping up with demand. Yet they produced them. Now, how do we keep up with demand in that? So you can see we returned right back down to this area that we were at before, right about 195-ish. As a matter of fact, we closed the day at 194.77. So 195, not bad, with a 50-day down here at about 188, and then 184 below that. So we'll have to see what sort of market strength we get in the near term for Tesla in order to have it continue its upward trajectory. If we get some softness, it could be something that dips down on us. And if it's something like recession that we hit, then we could see a lot of securities, not just Tesla itself, take a slight turn for the worse for the short term until we start exiting that recessionary period, or until we start to bottom out in the market, I should say, which should happen sometime during the recession, and start moving back up while we're still probably in the midst of the recession. So we'll have to see what takes place there for Tesla in the near term. So I think it would take a heck of a market bias to make Tesla rally even further from what we have right now. I don't know if we have the strength in the markets right now. We'll see. I am still sort of, the oil thing kind of messes things up for the week. So let me bring that back down. I was bullish for the week. The oil thing kind of put rain on our parade a little bit. It doesn't mean that we still can't raise up a little bit from where we're at right now, although I do think that we are near the next top on this thing before we start to rest for a little bit, before the bulls take a breather, let the bears have their little picnic or whatever it is that they're going to do for a while before we have any sort of next leg. And we'll see what happens between now and Q1 earnings, as I've been talking about for at least several weeks. If not, let me see, it is April, so I guess the last month or so I've been talking about Q1 earnings and kind of apprehensive about what we're going to hear about it, and hearing more about the outlook from the banks themselves. I think that's going to be big. And then also, because this video is on Tesla, hearing from Tesla for how they performed. Like I said, I have my earnings projection over there. The big question that we have, because we know that they cut into their margins by cutting their prices, is what were they able to do with their costs during Q1? Were they something a little bit more controlled? Did they get a little bit more out of control? Were things just as expensive as they were for Q4? So really a lot of decisions to make. And I have, like I said, I have that next one nearly ready to go up on the Patreon. I'll be putting that up soon here, so it gives us some time to kind of digest what we think is going to happen prior to their earnings that take place on April 19th it is, and I believe that that's a Wednesday. So thank you guys for listening to my commentary. If you'd like to hear more of it, check out that link down in the description for the Patreon. Click sign up and be a member of the community over there. Participate, talk with us, and also get access to my Patreon exclusive videos. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And to see anytime that my videos come out, make sure that you ring that notification bell. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. We'll see you in the next video.